Okay, so I have a little break between classes now, and so I'll just, make another video. The main focus of this video is, I guess I'm going to go over pretty much most of the clans. I'm not sure if I'll get through a lot of the clans between now and whenever. So I'm going to aim to be able to do them, but I think I'll do a mini video for like the small clans and kind of like bunch them together, and a whole video for big clans. Basically what I'm going to do today is do Gold Paladins, which are pretty dominant these days. Well, if you couldn't tell. But basically they have multiple different builds. If you follow the anime, they're basically the Royal Paladins plus the Shadow Paladins together. So that's why they have so many different builds that you can do. There's kind of like the Royal Paladin build, which revolves around Blonde Azel, which I have. And basically all of them basically have Garmor in them, because Garmor is pretty much the counterblast to Superior Call grade 2 or lower from deck. Just anywhere, doesn't even matter. And Blonde Azel is the limit break counterblast to top card of your deck Superior Call type thing, and it gains power equal to that unit that you Superior Called. So these two kind of accentuate the Royal Paladin side of the Gold Paladins. And if you've been watching recent news, that the Germany guy, the guy who won the German nationals, he was playing a Blonde Azel deck, centered around two Blonde Azel, 4 of this guy, and what was it? I think it might have been 2 Gigantic Destroyer. I'm not sure, but that was his grade 3 lineup. So I guess I'll take some time right now to explain this. This Blonde Azel. This Blonde Azel setup. I don't have all of my Gold Paladin stuff with me. I think they might be somewhere else, but I'll look for it later. But basically, the whole thing is to start with your starter called Crimson Lion Cub Criff. He's a 5k, he moves from the Vanguard Circle when you ride over him with grade 1. Basically what makes him so good is that when you have Knight of Superior Skills Bowman, which is the vanilla 10k for Gold Paladins, and the Knight of Elegant Skills Gareth, which is the vanilla 8k grade 1. In your Bowman has to be in your Vanguard Circle, and Gareth has to be in your rearguard circle, and Kirif has to be in your rearguard circle also. But you use Kirif's skill to move. If all those conditions are met, you move Gareth and Kirif into the soul to superior ride a Blonde Azel from your deck. So that's why you only run 2 of him, because you can superior ride him, and Garmor is essentially kind of better in the in the early riding thing. The only reason you ride Blonde Azel is because you have superior ride ability, or if he's the only thing in your hand. But the rest of the deck basically revolves around, unflipping damage, which is why you use Mage of Calamity Trip, and critical triggers, draw triggers, whatever you want, 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal, or even 6 crit, 6 draw, 4 heal. It's really variable. You can do whatever you want with it. But the consistency and the power of this deck are amazing. So that's why it's one of those top tier decks. It requires some bit of luck, because the top card of your deck can range from, grade 3 or to a trigger. You would hate to have to call the trigger, but you would love to call that grade 3. Another reason why this deck is very powerful is the superior ride. It requires 2 units that you should already have in your deck, the vanillas. Grade 8 and the grade 10, or the grade 1 and the grade 2 vanillas, 8k, 10k. If you already run them, which most decks do run vanillas, because of just, sheer power, If you run those, then you basically already have the superior ride down. All you need to do is get them in your hand, and you'll be fine. But other than that, this deck is basically, just like any other deck, has to get lucky. Now, as of the Extra Booster 3, you now have the second deck of Gold Paladins, which I don't have with me. I have this broken Extra Booster 3 box with me, but I mean, it's been through a lot, so I've kind of, retired it. But, second deck, Spectral Duke Dragon. Oh, it's a fun deck. For any of you people who don't know what that is, it's a ride chain that goes from grade 0 to grade 3. The grade 0, grade 1, and grade 2 are all called Vortimers. They basically, you just keep riding the Vortimer chain up until the grade 3, who's Spectral Duke Dragon. Basically, Spectral Duke Dragon gives you a limit break and a ability to become an 11k Vanguard. So if you have the grade 2 in your soul, it becomes an 11k Vanguard, period. That's it. Even on defense, on offense, whatever. That's one reason why it's powerful. The second reason why it's powerful is because of the limit break that it has. Limit break 4, obviously, but counterblast 2 and retire 2 of your rear guards. So if you can't tell, this is like the Shadow Paladin side of Gold Paladins. So you basically retire 2 of your rear guards, you counterblast 2, and during the close step of the battle, you don't even have to hit with your Vanguard, you don't have to. You automatically restand him. Just him, though. Not including your back row, just him. He's not Stern Blaukruger, if you don't know what it is. If you know what it is. But basically he stands back up and he loses his twin drive for his next attack. So you only drive check once after you restand him. What makes him incredibly powerful is that any trigger effects you get, they last until the end of the turn. So any power, any criticals that you get, if you apply to the Vanguard and you restand, he will still have them. So say you get a critical trigger when you drive check, and you restand him and you give him all the criticals and all the powers. You will restand, and if you have the grade 2 in soul, he will be a 16k soul attack with 2 critical. So that means if your opponent doesn't guard that attack, before he would have obviously gotten 2 damage already, if he no-guarded that one. And if he no-guards the next one, and you draw another critical, that's 2 more damage, plus the critical, which is 5 damage. That's 5 damage already, just from that one move. But obviously you'll have to guard that one, but it's just an incredibly powerful effect because it gives you card advantage. Three cards basically for free, essentially. Now you might be saying, but you have to retire 2 rear guards from your rear guard circle. Basically, there's the ride chain skill. This is what I want to explain after, but the ride chain, essentially, if you ride the grade 2 over the grade 1, the grade 1 has a skill where if it's ridden over by the grade 2 and you have the grade 0 in the soul, then you're allowed to retire 1 of your rear guards to call the top 2 cards of your deck. You can look at the top 2 and then call them to wherever you want. And basically, if you ride Spectral Duke Dragon over the grade 2, it has the same effect. If the grade 1 is in soul and you ride the grade 3 over the grade 2, then you automatically get the same effect. So basically, if you get the whole ride chain off and you call 2 and you don't call any more, and then you ride Spectral Duke Dragon over the grade 2 and you retire 1 more, that's 3 already. So, oh wait, I made a mistake. Spectral Duke Dragon is retire 3. Sorry about that. But that's already 3 units. So basically you just got those 3 units for Spectral Duke Dragon skill for free. Almost for free. So basically that's basically why this whole ride chain is so powerful, because you essentially get a free limit break. Free. Absolutely free. You didn't have to waste cards from your hand. Well, you had to use one to call to the field. That's it. And then to ride. That's it. It's essentially free in terms of you didn't have to call anything to use its skill. And even if you do have to call, you use Spectral Duke Dragon skill and you still get 3 cards back. So essentially you basically plus so much off of it, and the card advantage. You retire a grade 3 with no intercept. I mean, you just gave yourself more stuff. And so basically that's the Shadow Paladin side. I'm not sure if this revolves around any other Paladin side, but there's also White. I don't remember his name. White Hair in the Moon Shadow Pelennor. Pelennor. It's a good card. Basically, decks revolved around Pelennor. They're mostly bunny cards. Lop-Ear Shooter, which I just got, and Listener of Truth Dindrain. Those are basically superior call from decks. And they get effects based on if you superior called from deck. And then your starting Vanguard will be Spring Breeze Messenger. Now, what's cool about Spring Breeze Messenger is he obviously moves back, but his skill is when you boost with him and the attack hits, you may counterblast 1 to add him to the soul. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can call one in rest position, which means if you call a grade 3, it can't attack. Call a grade 2, it can't attack. It's just in rest position, not in stand position. But the reason why that's very powerful is that you are able to look and choose which one you want to call. And you also get to put the rest of them that you don't call on the bottom of the deck in any order you want. So you can trigger shuffle. You can place triggers in wherever you want, in whatever order you want. And basically, that's the common skill that most of them have. Wow, there's a lot of activity going on in my dorm. Anyway, so what I mentioned earlier, there's another card called Listener of Truth Dindrain. Basically, when he or she, I'm not sure, but when it's superior called from the deck, basically Spring Breeze Messenger is one of those ways. When it's superior called from the deck, you're allowed to Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. So it's a more powerful version of Silver Fang Witch, if you know what it does. But Silver Fang Witch is one of those series of cards where when it's called, you can Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. And it only has 5,000 power. Dindrain has 6,000 power and has the ability to, when it's superior called from deck, you can Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. So that's incredibly powerful. Not even including that it has 1,000 extra power, but it also has less of a cost to draw a card. Now there are 2 cards called, they're both Valkyries. One of them's called Flash Edge Valkyrie, and the other one's called Blade Edge Valkyrie. I'm not sure which one is the grade 2 or the grade 1, but the grade 2 has a skill of when it's superior called from the deck, you can counterblast 1 to check the top card of your deck and superior call that card if it's a Gold Paladin. And then Flash Edge Valkyrie, I think it's Flash Edge. Whichever one's the grade 1 booster, if you boost the grade 2, you can, and the attack hits, you can, I'm not sure if it's hit the Vanguard or just hits in general, but if the attack goes through, then you can counterblast 1 to superior call the top card of your deck. Basically, this all basically goes along with superior calling from the deck, which is an incredible resource because you're not using your hand, essentially. But people usually don't play the Valkyries because it's too random. That's why they made another grade 2. It's called Lop-Ear Shooter. Lop-Ear Shooter basically has a skill of when it's superior called from the deck, you can discard 1 card from your hand. It has a cost. So it has that cost instead of counterblast 1. But yeah. So Lop-Ear Shooter, it's basically Spring Breeze Messenger. You check the top 3 cards of your deck, Superior Call 1, and then put the rest on the bottom of the deck. But one thing different about it than Spring Breeze Messenger is that it doesn't call in rest position. It calls in stand position. So basically, if you call a grade 3 or a grade 2 that you want to attack with, you can attack with it if it's during the battle phase. Now, why you play Pelennor then? Even though it has a good limit break effect, its limit break effect is to put 2 of your rear guards to the bottom of your deck to add 5,000 power to whatever unit you want, including itself. So you can give power to itself, give power to a neighboring rear guard. It's basically adding a trigger power, which means 5k extra guard for, but what makes it incredibly more powerful is that it's when it's superior called from the deck, which means by, Lop-Ear Shooter at the top card of your deck from Vivian. If you don't know what Vivian is, it's basically when it's boosted and the attack hits, you counterblast 1 to superior call the top card of your deck. But it's like Vivian or Flash Edge, one of the Valkyries, or even Spring Breeze Messenger or Lop-Ear Shooter. If you superior call him from the deck in any position, whatever, you can call him to a back rear guard. Doesn't even matter. You can discard 1 card from your hand to superior ride him over your Vanguard if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater. So essentially, it's a superior ride, but it's more luck-based, but its skill is more powerful than Blonde Azel. Even though Azel gives field presence, this gives trigger power. So it's more guard that your opponent has to waste, while also being able to twin drive or quad drive, pretty much. But what I mean by that is that quad drive basically means you trigger check 4 times. You ride him over your Vanguard in stand position. So during the battle phase, if you superior ride him, you can attack again. So that's why people play Vivian, because once Vivian's attack hits, you can drive check once, like just ordinary drive check. And then when the attack hits, you counterblast 1. You can call, if the top card of your deck is Pelennor, you call it. And then you discard a card from your hand, you superior ride Pelennor over your Vivian, and you can attack once again for triple drive check. Now, if you're already at grade 3, and you already drive checked, and then you use Vivian as a rear guard, and an attack hits, and you superior call Pelennor, you just did a quad drive. So basically that's 2 extra cards that you added to your hand, which is just devastating in this game because card advantage is so prevalent. But yeah, those are the main 3 builds of Gold Paladin so far. If you haven't heard, they've come out with a cross ride for Blonde Azel. They're probably coming out with a cross ride for Spectral Duke Dragon, but not completely sure on that, but it's probably going to be true. But yeah, I'm going to make other videos of other clans and their main decks and how they basically work. So stick around. If you want to comment on whatever deck you want to see next, just go ahead and comment, and I'll try to get around to it, try to get the cards for it. And sorry this video took so long, but I'll see you guys later. Peace.